Hey guys, it's Britt. Today we're here to react to Brittany Dawn's Q&A that she did with her husband. I thought that this would be very interesting, and I actually got a couple of requests to react to it. So if you're interested, please keep watching. All right, you guys, so this video was uploaded 3 days ago, and it's Marriage Q&A, PRN, Our Worst Habits and Jealousy. It has 6.4 thousand views, which is pretty low considering her channel has 250,000 subscribers. But like I said in other videos, I think a lot of people are just checked out at this point. They just don't care, and they haven't unsubscribed. So, and I'll also say, allegedly, in my opinion, I think that she's also bought some subscribers, because I think a lot of people have left her channel and she doesn't want to reflect that, because obviously there's been a lot of people that have, you know, seen that she's a scammer, a dog groomer, married to a cop, ex-cop, I should say. And she doesn't want that to reflect on her channel, that she's losing subscribers. And the problem is, and I've talked about this before, but once you get into buying subscribers, you also have to then buy views and buy comments so that your video engagement will reflect your subscriber count and it won't look really lopsided like this does. But she's obviously not done both, so that could be another theory, but let's get into it.
Hello YouTube, and welcome back to my channel. This is our second intro for the second part of this video. If you're seeing this, you probably watched the first Q&A.
Okay, I realize that critiquing someone's makeup is in bad taste to some people, but Brittany Dawn's a terrible person, so I'm just gonna give my opinion here. She desperately needs to invest in a darker lip liner if she wants to wear really pale lipstick. I know that some people like that, and if she likes that, then by all means. But it really washes her out when her lip color is lighter than her skin tone and there's no contouring done. It's really gonna bother me in this video, and I'm not being mean about it, but I'm just saying that if she would contour her lips a little bit more, I think that she could pull off this lip color, but it's just like completely washing her out.
Baby, your eyes look so blue.
Oh my gosh.
Like the sky.
Yeah.
This is the intro to our second video. We filmed like 30 sit-down questions. It's kind of lengthy, so let's get to it.
You do?
I think so.
Really?
Okay, What is something you had to adjust to when you got married? Pee on the floor.
Hey.
Men, they aim, and
it's the middle of the night.
When
it's not during the day. It's the middle of the night.
It's the middle of the night. Sometimes they miss.
And I don't turn the light on out of respect of not trying not to wake her up.
And so I've had to
Wow,
adjust.
we're just throwing that all out there.
Why don't you turn the light on and close the door if it's a problem for you? Now, I don't know, I lived with a man for 14 years now and I don't have this problem, but if it's, I don't know, I wouldn't want that on my floor. That's kind of gross. Why don't you just turn the light on and close the door so that the light's not bothering anyone? Seems very odd, and I would not want to be cleaning that up every morning. Ew.
Selective seeing, so they don't see it, and so
selective seeing.
What's the one thing you had to adjust? What did you have to adjust to about me?
This woman can't close a door, a bag. Like, here's the story I love to tell. So I don't like croutons. I hate them. I just don't like croutons on my salad. Unpopular opinion, whatever. I'm sure there's gonna be haters about that. Like the crouton police out there. Whatever, that's my choice.
Well, at least now you're the crouton police, because we saw what you were when you were an actual police officer, and Jesus take the wheel if you ever held that title again. Let's hope that it never happens.
I live in America. I cannot like croutons, but I still want the bag of the croutons to be closed. Like, I want her, she loves croutons. And I want her croutons to be fresh and crunchy and not stale. I don't like croutons. It doesn't matter to me. I just want things closed. Whether it's the cheese or the croutons
Babe.
or the pantry door. I don't know.
Baby, you're so passionate about this.
I don't like croutons.
I can feel the passion just like coming off of you.
Too bad he wasn't so passionate to save Brody's life. It seems like this guy is passionate about the wrong things in life. For me, I'm passionate about my dog's safety and his well-being and the safety and well-being of others around me. It's unfortunate that clearly he doesn't give a shit, and when her dog was hurt, he decided to take things in his own hands and murder the dog instead of taking him to the vet. And I realize that I talk about this a lot, but it is such a gross display of what being a pet owner is, and I don't want people to forget about it. So if this is the first Brittany Dawn video that you have ever come across, her husband here decided to shoot and murder their dog that got tragically hit by a car instead of opting to take him to one of two local vets that was in a very short radius of their home. He decided to take things into his own hands. And like I said, if it was that bad, I understand that side of it. But vets are not just for living pets. They also offer services for afterlife care.
So yeah, marriage is fun.
Advice on keeping marriage life exciting and fun. Don't take yourself too seriously.
Yeah.
I just went off on a minute tangent about croutons.
Croutons.
Like when
I
you start
dance a
thinking
lot.
when you start thinking that you're too cool and you know you gotta like be yourself.
It also helps if you're able to get a fiance who got a lot of money by scamming people, so you can walk into a position where they have their finances all set because of the money that they scammed from their followers, who unfortunately gave them a piece of their trust. They got scammed. So I'm sure that for him, walking into this beautiful home that was built off the backs of her subscribers, also, it was probably just a wonderful way to enter married life.
Like, she is a complete and utter weirdo. So am I. It works. We often, what do we say all the time? Please.
Well, you both might be weird, but let's also focus on things that actually matter. I don't care if someone is weird or goofy or quirky. I think all of those are great. But when you focus on the bigger problem, and that is that he is a racist cop, she is a scammer, and they are both terrible with their pets, I think that that speaks volumes. So be a weirdo as long as your little heart desires. I am here for that. But when we're talking about actual problems and actual personality flaws where you have shown that you're just a piece of shit person, those are the things that I actually choose to focus on.
Never stop being weird.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
We just have fun. Don't take yourself too seriously.
Yeah, if you're too serious, like, that's just not fun. There's no fun in that. Dance more.
Oh.
She seems, I know less about him than I do about her, but as far as not taking anything too serious, she seems to really take any opportunity to preach to people and tell people how her way of living for the Lord is so much better than whatever it is that you or I are doing. So that's also kind of an interesting thing to reflect on when you think of someone who wants to have fun and they're weird and they're just a free spirit. To me, she doesn't strike me as any of those things, because she's constantly preaching how her way of life is giving her all of the good things.
Oh, here we go.
Annoying habits about each other.
Well, we already covered that one. Annoying habits.
Are there any other ones that you want me to know about? What is there annoying? Oh, anytime, you know, well, not anytime, this just happened today, but I have a feeling it's going to become a thing. Anytime I'm like, babe, I have to pee so bad, he tries to run and tickle me. I barely made it to the bathroom today. Barely. That's going to become an annoying habit, because I feel like there's more where that came from. What spiritual warfare did you battle during engagement, and how did you overcome it? Well, we actually went through a period of about a month and a half where we were both sick. I also, while dating, I also fell. This was 3 months in. I fell, got a concussion, started dealing with a lot of health issues like blood sugar issues and dizziness and extreme fatigue. I would say we had major attacks on our health during the dating season, and covered by the blood of Jesus in this marriage and rebuking any infirmities in our body in the name of Jesus. I definitely think that we've just gone through seasons. I mean, spiritual warfare can look like so many things.
Yeah.
There's no specific, but will you go through it as a Christian while dating and pursuing purity? Absolutely. But remember that when you do go through it, you have the authority through the Holy Spirit that lives inside of you to bind and rebuke that back to the gates of hell where it belongs. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Purity culture is something that I've talked about a little bit on my channel, but it is so, a lot of times what purity culture teaches is to ignore the feelings that you're feeling inside. And if you act on those feelings, then you are listening to Satan, or, you know, this kind of nonsense that she wants to say. If you want to be abstinent for your own personal decision, then that's one thing. But if you're doing it because your pastor said so, because your parents said so, because your best friend from college said so, I would reflect on that and try to talk to someone who's outside of that circle, because it can play so many tricks on your mind. And obviously I'm not a therapist, I'm not a counselor, I'm not a doctor. But what I usually see is kids that are brought up in purity culture end up facing a lot of shame and a lot of guilt when it comes to, even if they build a healthy relationship, they will they'll just have a lot of negative emotions tied to expressing themselves sexually, and that's something that shouldn't happen. There is no shame, there's no guilt in that. You know, as long as it's two consenting adults, then, you know, there's no problem whatsoever. So I don't know. I don't subscribe to purity culture, but like I said, if it's something that you subscribe to and it's because of your own decision, then that's one thing. But I see way too often it being used as this like gold standard, like you will be a better person if you wait for marriage. You will be a better person if you you know, go all of literally until you get married, or, you know, there's just so much guilt and shame associated with purity culture, and I'm not here for it.
How does Jordan feel, that's me,
That's you, babe,
about being married to an influencer?
I don't really think that she's going to have that title for much longer, because as a reminder, she is being sued by the state of Texas for being a scammer. And once you are a scammer, your influence doesn't really work the way that it's supposed to. Now, she'll probably still have a handful of followers who believe her and believe in whatever bullshit she's shilling at the moment. But for the most part, those of us who take in a lot of social media, once you know that someone like this is out there, there is no reason why I would ever believe a word that comes out of her mouth. And I don't. I think that she is a false prophet. I think that she is an absolute scammer. And I think that she is a con artist. And those are people that I don't consider influencers. Do I consider influencers a little annoying, a little distasteful once in a while? Absolutely. Entitled? Absolutely. But once scam and influencer cross paths and you're the one that they're looking at, I wouldn't call her an influencer. So I don't think he needs to worry about this, but let's hear what he has to say.
Don't care. I didn't marry her because of that.
Yeah.
In fact, when we started dating, I didn't even know who she was or what she did.
I had to tell him, like, it was like I guess it was the first date,
Yeah.
because I told you everything. But then,
Well,
like later on, you were
okay.
like, so what do you actually do?
Yeah.
And I was like, well,
To each their own. Like, I want nothing to do with social media. I don't like social media, but it's the platform that the Lord has given her to use that.
So the Lord gave her social media. let's completely ignore the people that created TikTok, the people that created Instagram, all of the actual people that are working on the back end that are extremely qualified to build such large social media platforms. Let's completely ignore them and let's just say that the Lord gave it to her. I'm so tired of this. I'm so tired of everything being associated back to, God. Jesus gave it to her. Well, guess what? Jesus also doesn't like scammers, as a friendly reminder. And as for you, Jordan, he definitely doesn't like cops.
Lori, I love her story about how it, once upon a time it was given to her and she used it
for vanity,
not for the Lord.
Yeah. Oh no. Sorry, you guys. We keep having to stop my camera because it keeps overheating. I think I need a new camera soon.
She was gonna say something and they cut that. They tried to say that the camera overheated. He was going to talk about her scamming, I think, there for a second, and he said too much, and she cut it. I want to know what he, I'd like to know what he was going to say there. We'll never know.
But yeah, I think what you were saying is like I used to use my platform for vanity and for like my own selfish gains. And,
yeah.
It is what it is. Like he's never had a problem with it. You've always cheered me on.
It is what it is. Imagine scamming people and saying it is what it is. Literally making promises that you knew that you couldn't keep. And then when people asked you about, hey, how do I get a refund? They were ignored, blocked, or asked to sign an NDA for a partial refund. But I guess it is what it is because she's sitting in her luxury home that, again, was purchased with money that she scammed from people. And they are both, essentially, I call people like Jordan and Brittany holy rollers. And I know that might be insulting to some people, but I don't think it is because the holy roller Christians are the ones that are not accepting. They are not welcoming you with open arms. They are constantly preaching their word against yours and your lifestyle. I think that they wear the hat very well. And these are two people that I don't know how either of them can sleep at night, but I think that the lawsuit will be a massive reality check for Brittany.
My biggest supporter.
Yeah.
But he hates social media. Like this man literally just deleted his Instagram, a month and a half ago?
A couple months ago.
Yeah. And I love that. Like, I'm like, I secretly love that, opposites attract. I think it could be a lot given how I'm driven to like be such a creator and talk and do this and do that. Like if it was both of us, I think it could be a lot sometimes. So I think we're a good balance.
Did you show Jordan the ring you wanted before he proposed?
True story.
Oh no.
So I left, he was over one night and we were watching, I think we were watching a movie or a TV show. And I left my phone sitting on, Yellowstone. I left my phone sitting on the couch and went to my bathroom and then came back out and he's so sneaky, but he's not. And I was like, oh babe, sorry, I had to go to the bathroom. Opened my phone a few minutes later and it's on Pinterest, which was not me, not my doing. And it's on the ring board. Like he literally left the ring just like when I opened my phone, there were diamond rings.
Do better, guys. You can do better.
And I'm
usually very in tune with those moments and I just can't believe I did that.
Well, because
he does not seem very sly to me. He seems very dumb, just based off what I have seen. I don't think that he's the type that could pull off the perfect surprise or do anything without being found out. I don't know. To me, he just seems very stupid.
We had nothing to hide. So he knew my passcode. I know his passcode to his phone. So it was not a thing for him to log into my phone and pull up Pinterest. But literally left it sitting.
No, I think that's the only time I've ever gone through your phone.
Yeah. And I was just like, and this was November.
Yeah.
So this was 2 months after we started dating, because when you know, you know. And so, I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
But
that's toxic to put that message out as well, to claim that dating for 2 months, it's normal to get engaged. That is in fact very abnormal, and some people might disagree with me on that, but to jump so far headfirst in 2 months and claim that you knew that you wanted to marry this person, to me, that seems like two people that are moving absolutely way too fast. And typically when it takes off quickly, it also crashes and burns quickly. And maybe theirs won't, who knows, only time will tell. But to place this like veil of normalcy over dating for 2 months and saying that you actually want to marry this person is a dangerous message to try to normalize, because in fact it is very much abnormal.
I didn't know what the ring was going to look like. I just had a feeling.
Do better, boys. Do better.
Do you know each other's love languages?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sure do.
Yeah. I think that's something that, especially when you're not physical during dating and you're trying to honor the Lord with your dating relationship, you still want to like have talks about like, what is your love language? Those are things you'll go through in premarital counseling. Yeah. Did you learn anything about each other since being married that you didn't know before? Yeah, I think you just learned that I'm even weirder than you thought.
This one, literally, she doesn't wear pants.
Oh my gosh.
At all.
I love that.
Like, and I had no idea that she was like, she just had like this deep-rooted hatred for wearing pants.
You have a nickname.
Oh yeah, No Pants Annie. I'm like, what are you doing? Like,
Is wearing no pants for the Lord? How does that tie into all the Bible verses? I'd love to know from Brittany herself.
she's like, I'm cold. I'm like, put on some pants. Like, I don't know. That sounds logical.
But here's the thing, this benefits you greatly.
Ugh.
I don't think I've learned anything about you besides just like how weird we can be together now that we're like really in the thick of marriage. But like as far as like, I think this was in regards to like deep things. Like we were very transparent from the get-go. We went through premarital counseling. We were very open about like even things like debt we had, past, just whatever. Yeah. We knew everything. So that's why I love when people try to make stuff up about us on the internet. I'm just like, okay, you're cute.
Well, you think you know everything. You're trusting someone that you knew for 2 months and then you got engaged, which is scary. So you think you know everything, but there are literally people, you guys, like I'm telling you, I watch way too much true crime. There are literally people that will date for years and then find out that this person everything they were saying was a lie. So I don't know. I mean, I'm all for, earning trust and stuff like that, but let's also not act like you are that confident, because let's be honest, what if it came out next month that this dude was someone that he was claiming he wasn't? Then what would she say?
Has porn been a struggle in the past, and is it a struggle now for either of you?
I think it's been a struggle for both of us in the past.
In the past?
Yeah. When you were, your early 20s, right? Yep. You're 36 now. Yep. For me, it was when I was like 24, 25, also in the height of like fitness and stuff. And so, yeah, it's not something that either of us are proud of, but we're also not ashamed of it because the Lord has washed us of that. Yeah. And that's part of our testimony. And so, no, we do not struggle with that anymore.
If you currently are, I can't tell you how important it is to flee from that and to take that and lay that at the feet of Jesus and just give that up to him. And it's a struggle. It's something that only the Lord can do. Yeah. And only the Lord, when it gets its grips in you. I've got a couple buddies that...
Does he have dip in his mouth? Because to me, his bottom lip looks very puffy, but I also haven't seen a ton of content with him, which I don't care, but I also think it's very funny for these, goody two-shoes over here who are not doing anything that's not at the Lord's will, that he would do a video with a big wadded dip in his mouth, but I could be wrong. As far as the PRN subject, this is something very normal. I don't understand this whole, oh my God, you're not allowed to do that, like once you're in a relationship or once you're married. To me, I couldn't care less. I think that when you, if you really do trust each other and you really do love each other and have confidence in your marriage or in your relationship, I don't understand why it's a big deal. I know that some people will look at it completely different, but I also think it's funny when these two want to sit here and act like they know each other and they are just unbreakable. But then something like PRN is such a hot button issue that you had to completely eradicate it from your household. I don't know. Like I said, to me, I couldn't care less, but I also know that some people look at it a little bit differently. And I also know that it can become a problem. But I'm also talking about kind of like the middle of the road kind of situation where we're not dealing with like an addiction to that kind of stuff or anything like that. I don't know. To me, I think that it's normal. I don't think that it's that big of a deal. But obviously it is just one of the ultimate sins in the Brittany Dawn household.
Have had that conversation with, and it's it can be a struggle for some, and just pray for that. Take that.
Yeah, that was good, babe. Sorry, the camera died again, so it cut off a little bit. But yeah, I think porn sets very unrealistic expectations in the bedroom. It's not real. It's Hollywood, and it just does a lot of damage. Like, from a female perspective, it will do damage to you, but it will also do even more damage if you know your partner's watching it, and either they're hiding it or you know they're openly watching it. Like, that will truly like damage a woman's confidence. And so there's definitely plenty of places out there to get help for that. So
if you're actually that confident, though, I don't think that it will derail anything. And again, I'm speaking from personal experience. You know, I could be wrong, but for me, I think that when there is true confidence and truly like trusting that other person, something as, you know, silly as PRN is not a threat to me.
Something that you're struggling with or your partner's struggling with, I would encourage you to do that.
Let's see here. Where are we? My husband doesn't do anything like he did when we were dating or engaged. What do I do?
Well, here's the thing. We've been, like your favorite thing, we've been married for 5 minutes. So like, we don't have any dating or marriage advice, but what I can say, and one thing that he knows is one of my biggest fears, is complacency. That's something that I always told you and was very transparent. I was like, complacency scares me, because you see all these couples that are just madly in love, and then they get married, and years down the road, they're just like, I don't know who you are anymore. And so I think just being very intentional with still doing date nights and still courting each other, and all the cute things that, you know, like he did to win my heart, vice versa, like still continuing those things.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. One of the things I would suggest is maybe just get a babysitter if you guys have kids, and just make sure, you know, do your best to make sure everything, like all of his things that he needs to do when he gets home from work, are already done. And you guys just go on a date, and just you two, and reconnect. Just spend quality time together. Yeah. I know that even that concept can be unfathomable.
So that's the funny thing, is they definitely want to focus on gender stereotypes where the woman is at home, and what he was just saying was, well, if the woman can stay home and make sure that the house is clean and the laundry is done and you know, everything is clean and organized, by the time I get home, then we can go have a date night. And I don't subscribe to that idea. I understand if it is the woman that's at home, then obviously she's going to be picking up some of those tasks and helping. But I also don't think that it should just be automatically expected the way that it is a lot of times in these relationships that really focus on these gender stereotypes of the woman just staying home and baking and, you know, knitting gloves all day. I realize that that can be helpful, but at the same time, I'm also not going to marry someone who is going to come in the front door and kick his feet up while I'm running around like a crazy person. I don't know. I just think that things should be split a little bit more evenly, and that's just where I stand on it.
Well, at times, just with the amount of things that build up that you have to get done, but yeah, just try to get back to the basics of spending quality time together. Yeah. But we literally have been married for 5 minutes, so we're still
we're still in the honeymoon phase, for sure.
Jordan, what are things you do?
It's funny that they want to act like they've been married for 5 minutes, but she certainly does put out a lot of advice on TikTok and Instagram. And if you didn't know that, you would think that she is just some kind of like, I have all the answers and I'm living my life for Jesus. So if you need answers or motivation, then you've come to the right place. So it's funny to hear him say that, but her presence online gives me a different viewpoint, just my opinion.
In marriage, to honor Britt. I try to be the most encouraging that I can, and to just knowing her love languages and knowing.
Encouraging, like saying, that's okay, babe. Don't worry about scamming all those people. Don't worry that the state of Texas is actually suing your ass right now. I'm going to be your encourager, and I will be that rock that you can lean on. Don't worry about all those people. Who cares if you scam them and then ignored them and then hopped your ass on a plane and went to Hawaii? We're married now, so I'm here to encourage you and let you know that scamming people is okay.
Specific ways in which she needs to be loved, and trying to focus on those and just to encourage her and lift her up. I pray for her constantly throughout the day, so those are probably some of the main ones.
Yeah, that, and then, you know, just all the things that we had even during dating, of ways that he protected my heart with his actions, with his lifestyle, like things like that he's also carried into marriage. And yeah, it's no different than dating, just like we said earlier.
Protecting your heart, to me, does not equate to murdering my dog in the middle of the road. To me, protecting my heart would have been taking my dog to get urgent medical care, not taking things into your own hands and, you know, basically playing God. And that's the whole thing. Like, these people are such hypocrites. They sit here and say that God's in control of everything, but then when something is an inconvenience, then you want to play God and murder this girl's dog, which she allowed, you know, to happen. Like, she didn't really step in and stop it. The whole thing is just rules for thee, but not for me, and it's disgusting.
Earlier. Do you ever get jealous of each other's past partners? No. And I will say this, like, jealousy it's just so, like, deeply rooted with insecurity. And so, you know, you can't have jealousy without insecurity. So I think.
But you're also insecure enough to say that there's no PRN allowed in your house because it will make you insecure in the bedroom. So I don't think that there is a lot of confidence between the two of them. And I think that there's a lot of having to constantly reassure one another. And I think that reassuring one another can be very healthy once in a while. But if there's all this trust and all this love, then to me, I don't understand why something as silly as PRN would be a problem. Especially when you have Brittany Dawn walking around like she is just like so confident in her marriage. This is the man. Y'all can't have him. A lot of hypocrisy, and it leaves me scratching my head all the time.
I think, like, first of all, he married me. That would be silly to be jealous of anyone that's in his past, you know, like it just doesn't make sense. Like, that's not what marriage is.
I would say the past is the past for a reason.
Yeah.
And
it didn't work out with other people for a reason. And it's truly like, this is God ordained, and our marriage has God's anointing on it. And so I would never need to be jealous or insecure about your past.
But you're jealous and insecure of PRN. I think that she is jealous and insecure of a lot of things. She would never admit that. The problem with people like Brittany Dawn and her husband here is that these are people who will make really big intentional mistakes. And I focus on the intentional part. They will intentionally make mistakes and then turn it over to God and say that they have been forgiven. So you guys don't need answers. We don't need to repay the people we scammed. We don't need to, you know, answer questions about things that come through. Like, she has 22 comments on this video. Do you really think that only 22 people left her a comment? People are still pissed at her, and they're still waiting to be paid back. So him and her both will deliberately make really bad choices. I shouldn't even call them mistakes, because a lot of them are super intentional. So they will intentionally make mistakes to benefit themselves, and then a day later or a week later or a month later, they will say that they turned it over to God and they've been forgiven. So everyone else needs to shut up about it, because we've been forgiven.
And that's also something that we were both super transparent about from the get-go as well. I think like you should never marry someone until you know their past. Like I think there's certain things you should know. Like you would never marry someone not knowing if they're a virgin or not. That's just, those are conversations that you want to have, I think.
Oh yeah.
Why would that matter? This is the thing with like the purity culture stuff. It's just like you're focused on the wrong thing. I would much rather have someone who is not a virgin and they're not racist. You know what I mean? Common sense.
So I think that there's to a certain extent, you do want to know each other's past.
Your favorite part of living together? I think it's just like you get to do life with your best friend and have fun and just do things around the house to love on the other person, and it's just a constant, like, it's fun. Like she mentioned earlier, when she's got to go to the bathroom, I chase her and try to catch her and tickle her.
So yeah, what he was saying is just like, sorry, my camera keeps dying. I really got to get a new camera, baby. Marriage, living together is fun.
Maybe you can get yourself a new camera with that money that you still have that was scammed from people.
Like just getting to do life with each other. Like after this, we're going to run errands because we've been snowed in for 2 days and we want to get out of the house. And yeah, every bit of life with you is fun. Britt, how do you create boundaries when your husband is upset about something but not at you? I think just being there for him. Like there have definitely been moments where he's been upset, he's needed to vent, he's had a really rough day, and it's not at me, but like he's just very tense, and I can sense that and pick up on that. And so I think just like being a listening ear. You don't always have to give them advice. You don't always have to tell them what you think they should do. In fact, sometimes that can actually be the worst thing to do. If your man is wired like my husband is, just listen and just comfort him. I mean, as his wife, I know what really makes him feel at home, what makes him feel better, what makes him feel loved, and so just going above and beyond to do that for you.
One of the things that we've talked about, and one of the things that she does, or what I've told you in the past, is if I'm having a rough day, don't match me in that. Like I still want her to be her bubbly self and bring joy and just laughter. Like don't match me. Like I'm looking for her to be to continue to be that like uplifting spirit when I'm having a rough day. And so that's been something that we've worked through.
Yeah, that's such good advice. Best topics to talk about, things to work through before getting married.
Everything.
Literally everything.
Literally. As much as you can.
Yeah.
As much as you can. But just the little things like that you're going to learn about one another when you live together.
Like pee on the floor.
Next question.
Yeah, I think just have a discussion about all the big things. Finances, past, you know, if they've been married before, you definitely need to know that. Why did that marriage fail? Those kinds of things. Yeah. This is the last question. Dealing with disagreements where you are both firm on your beliefs. You're not always going to see eye to eye on everything.
Yeah.
Well, I think that people marry each other because they have common viewpoints. I've said this before. If the husband is racist, then to me, I think that the wife has to match some of those views. I just don't think that I think that opposites attract in certain ways, but when it comes to your core values, I think a lot of them end up aligning. Now, you know, political stances, I've had friends who one person was Democrat, one person was Republican, and they got along just fine. But when it comes to really serious social issues, I think that usually there's some alignment there, whether or not we know it. And some people will deny it until they're blue in the face. But I also don't think that you literally marry someone and spend years of your life with them knowing that they are a piece of trash and you're not a piece of trash too, in some of the same ways. Not saying everything, but some.
Definitely had disagreements and arguments where it's like, okay, then we're agreeing to disagree, and that's okay. I think it's in the heat of that moment, you still respect each other, and most likely I'm fleeing to the other room, and he knows that when I flee to the other room, he needs to give me a few minutes to cool off before he just comes in there and chases me down, because that's like the worst thing to do.
Yeah.
So like just having, when those moments come, like...
Well, I hope that he's gotten some of his anger under control from when he was a police officer, because when I saw that clip and when I see this person today, I don't know if these are two different people and if he's actually changed his ways. Because back then, he was someone who slammed an innocent black man to the ground because he was angry. That is not what a police officer's job is. A police officer's job is to serve the community and be understanding and, you know, cool down situations that have gotten out of control. So I hope that he has changed. Has he? Don't know. But if he hasn't, then I worry for their future. I do.
Like, and we're in no way professionals at this. Like, we've been married maybe 6 minutes by now, but like
went from 5 to 6.
But I think just like as long as you have that mutual respect for each other, you can work through those moments, and it's okay not to see eye to eye on everything.
So respect your spouse, but not anyone else. Don't respect your subscribers. Don't respect people of the community. Don't respect animals. Don't respect your own pets. Okay, seems like the logic is very, very flawed here.
And I'm not gonna force my beliefs on him, whereas he's not gonna force his beliefs on me. Now, if
But you force your beliefs on your entire TikTok following every single day by putting out these preachy videos and by saying, well, look at my life and look at how I'm living. And I'm going to tell you guys my beliefs and why I do certain things. And if you're not having things that I'm having, it's probably because you're not living your life the way that I am. And I'm going to preach to you until you get tired of it.
We're lucky because spiritually, a lot of our beliefs are already aligned. In fact, I mean, the majority, if not all.
I think all of them do. I think, this is just like an overall, like, hard things come up in life. Like, we've definitely had things, you know, that have come up, and we're like, well, you know, that's okay. We're agreeing to disagree.
Yeah.
And that's marriage. Like, you're not gonna, if you're waiting for someone that you can agree with on everything, you're probably never gonna find it.
It's gonna be tough.
Yeah.
So.
And that concludes our second Q&A. Thank you guys so much for stopping in on our channel, and we will see you guys in the next.
Ew, no thank you. So I'm going to see how this video does, and I might react to part 1, but yeah, I mean, both of them, I think that they are very similar in a lot of ways, but like I said, I would be able to move past her scamming her subscribers if she would have done the right thing. But this is someone who still has not paid back all of those people that spent their hard-earned money on her lie of a business. And until that's done, I am not going to ignore her. And what happened with Brody is just the icing on the cake. It makes me physically sick to my stomach, and I worry for her current dog. This is the same girl that literally abandoned a horse that she had. She rehomed a pit bull that she had, and then her dog gets out of the house because of her irresponsibility, and her husband shoots and kills it in the middle of the road. This is not someone I'm ready to ignore yet. So for now, if you like the video, please leave a like and a comment, and if you'd like to see more from me in the future, please subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.